Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the AEW Dynamite review, brought to you by myself, Aeron, the host and owner of Wrestle. My lord, what an opener. 6-man tag for AEW Dynamite, opening up this incredible clash between Matt Hardy and the Bucks of Youth against Private Party and Joey Janela. Now, unfortunately, there was an injury that occurred in this match. Hopefully, it's not too serious on the case of Private Party. Fingers crossed that things are going to be a little bit better and we're going to get good news going forward, but it didn't look fantastic. Full credit to Matt Hardy as the face, helping carry him out. Just an explosive opening to what you would expect from Dynamite. Great match. Very spot festy, but I have no problem with that. Joey Janela is fantastic. Still think he's wickedly underrated. Loved Matt Hardy's moonsault, by the way. That moonsault onto all three guys was absolutely stellar. He's putting in great work. Doesn't matter. He's timeless. He's an absolute classic of this industry. Loved it. Loved the little shenanigans as well beforehand with the promo and changing his persona to suit what the Bucks wanted for the match. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Like I say, great opener. Obviously, the Bucks of Youth get the win. I really like the little bit of shenanigans, the brawl on the outside with Blade and the Butcher. Butcher and the Blade, excuse me. They obviously got involved after the match as well. I think that's got a nice bit of traction. But my God, what an explosive moment. The Revival, or formerly known as The Revival, now to be known as FTR, made their debut on AEW Dynamite this evening. I quite literally lost my mind. I was going crazy. AEW providing me with a genuine awesome moment. Heard this car rev up and you're thinking, what the fuck's that? And then, oh my God, here they are. Dawson and Wilder, in their new gimmicks, personas, so to speak, but they're still the same guys, the same kind of attitude amongst them. Just an awesome moment. And you're thinking, oh, they're going to go straight for the Young Bucks, but no, they dispatch Butcher and the Blade first, and then they kind of walk out on things. And it'll be very curious to see that dynamic. Are they going to build to it? Because it's going to be a while now until the next pay-per-view, so let it breathe. Are we going to build to it, or are they going to throw this match out there a little bit earlier? I think that they're going to be sensible enough to know that this is a pay-per-view money matchup. But what a moment seeing these guys debut, and a great match as well that was that preceded it. I just loved it. Thought it was a great opener and just set the tone beautifully for AEW Dynamite. Coming off of a pay-per-view red hot, wrestling fans traditionally get very excited about the show after the pay-per-view, whether that be a Raw after a pay-per-view, particularly after WrestleMania, or in this case, the first AEW Dynamite since Double or Nothing. But either way, absolute killer opener. Everything I wanted from AEW Dynamite to get me going on a Wednesday evening. After all that excitement, I felt like I needed a cigarette, but I don't smoke, unfortunately. So, we crack on. Jon Moxley and Brian Cage had a slight altercation. Well, I say altercation. Jon Moxley swanned his way down, retaining his AEW World Heavyweight Championship, which was always good fun. He swanned his way down to commentary, and then Brian Cage had a match, if you can call that a match. He basically murdered Lee Johnson in about 30 seconds. The same Lee Johnson that I was told on AEW Dark had a lot of potential. Not tonight, son. Not tonight. This was just a platform for Taz to set up the possibility of Cage versus Marks down the line. I think it's got a really good value to it, but like I've said, I want them to be patient with it. I don't want them to just throw it out there, early doors. And hopefully that's not going to be a thing going forward. Obviously, I really hope they're going to build this match for the pay-per-view. Oh boy, I didn't think much of Britt Baker's promo. I know people are going to be disappointed. It had great content. I just thought the delivery was a bit slow and a bit boring. But other than that, it was fine. She basically is saying conspiracy theories and whinging about, different things. These people contributed to my injured leg and this woman is responsible for it, pointing to Aubrey Edwards at the centre of this conspiracy theory. But what are you going to do, really? There's not a great deal she can do, obviously, with a legitimate injury. She says that she'll be back for All Out or All In. So, I'm assuming she'll be back within a few months, which is good news, to be honest, because the women's division needs to be as strong as ever. But yeah, the promo just didn't sit well with me. Christy Jane versus Hikaru Shida. Very interesting. Haven't seen Christy Jane before. This was apparently her second match for AEW. I will say one thing. She had amazing ring gear. Brazilian. Had this, just this beautiful Latin temperament. I am a bit of a sucker for my Latin women, it has to be said. I thought she was very beautiful. She was very easy on the eye, as are most women, to be fair, in wrestling, and particularly in AEW. But for me, I really enjoyed the physicality of the match. I thought Christy Jane was given an opportunity, unlike she would have been on Dark, to really showcase what she can do. And that was a great thing, because you're in the ring with Hikaru Shida, the AEW Women's Champion. You don't know if you're going to have an opportunity to be in there again. So she proved herself very well in that respect. Really liked the step up Inzaguri on the turnbuckle. I thought she did a beautiful sunset flip as well off the middle rope. She just really looked like somebody who understood how to wrestle with good psychology. She had good facials. She was good at taunting the crowd, the little dancing and everything. Really big fan. We know what we're getting from Shida. We know that she's one of the very best women's wrestlers right now in the world. That is reflected by the fact that she is AEW World Champion. I'm very curious as to what Chris Jericho probably thought of Christy Jane doing the Lion Salt as well. But, Hikaru Shida picks up the win. But what I liked about it was that it was reasonably competitive. This was the right level of competitive. The match wasn't ridiculously long, but at the same time, you got enough, and you got to see some of what Christy Jane had to offer. And that, for me, is quite important. It really is. Now, something I've been incredibly passionate about is Cody and his rise, his meteoric rise under the AEW banner. I think you'd have to be either incredibly naive or a massive WWE apologist to not see the quality that Cody has. He's one of the best storytellers in wrestling. I've said that countless times. Simon Miller agrees with me from What Culture. I'm a big fan of Simon Miller. I do watch his stuff, and I noticed that he had mentioned the same thing as well. Pretty much at the same time that we dropped our Double or Nothing review, which is always cool. And I'm in full agreement. I think he's one of the best storytellers wrestling has had in the modern era. This promo seems so simple on the face of it, but what it was this wonderful working man's promo. It really emanated beautifully like his father. He was so eloquent, he was so smooth, but he also felt vulnerable and relatable. Cody's character has been phenomenal in that regard. Not really much else you can say about it, just the great content, and having obviously his wife at ringside and Brandy, and his brother Dustin as well, and talking about, Dustin got all the dusty, I'm not this isn't a Bambi story. I really appreciate that, and this is just another in a long line of incredible promos. You gotta remember, some of the promos he's cut, on Chris Jericho and MJF, and the work he's been putting in, the character work and the psychology. I'm sorry, there just isn't anyone who's better in that department in the world right now, and that's why he made my top 3 wrestlers in the world right now. If you go and check out wrestleplug.com, cheeky little plug for you, we write regular articles and contribute articles, and you guys can contribute too if you want, completely free of charge, no catches, just send in your articles and we will post them for you with full accreditation. I mentioned the fact that I felt that Cody was genuinely one of the best wrestlers in the world, and this is just, more evidence, more fuel for that fire. Following up from that, we had Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc versus SCU. Now, this is a good match, obviously. It's going to be 4 very capable, excellent workers. Always nice to see Penelope Ford as well, because very easy on the eye. Which would be why Kip Sabian put a ring on it. Congratulations, sir. I know it happened a while back, but once again, just want to extend our congratulations to Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford. What a gorgeous couple that is. For me, I'm still frustrated with the use of Jimmy Havoc. Now, I know he was 7-3 coming into this match, I believe it was, or 7-4. Decent record, but a lot of that is padded by beating these indie, job guys on Dark. And that's fine, because it's good. It helps build records for guys like Jimmy Havoc, but I just want to see more out of him. Now, they obviously have a lot of faith in the idea of Sabian and Havoc as a team, and I understand that, but yeah, there's just something missing with Jimmy. As a British fan, somebody who invested a lot of time in going to watch British independent wrestling and still does, and spent a lot of time seeing guys like Jimmy Havoc, for instance. I've seen him in some incredible, mind-blowing matches, not just death matches. He's a world-class wrestler as well. Something is missing about his character. Maybe his grit. Maybe he's not allowed to speak enough. Maybe his very English demeanour, that very kind of, he's got a real Sex Pistols vibe, like a really gritty, dark Sex Pistols kind of vibe to him, punk rock. maybe that doesn't translate as well with an American audience in this day and age, but I just feel like he's got a lot more to offer than he's given an opportunity to show. Kip Sabian is getting quite an opportunity because he's the bad boy, so to speak. Not like Joey Janela, obviously. He's super bad, Kip Sabian. And he's got oodles of charisma, and he's got a good look, and he's a very different kind of character to what, Jimmy Havoc is. But yeah, on the flip side of things, I just feel like Jimmy Havoc's getting the short end of the stick still, and I would like to see more participation from him. That being said, they did get a win. That was awesome. I appreciate that. I think it was really cool that they went over SCU. I think that's a real statement as well, because SCU were the first ever tag team champions. So hey, maybe I'm going to eat my words, and maybe we're going to see something more special. But I believe that means that next week it's going to be Havoc and Sabian versus Hangman and Omega for those tag team championships. So that should be very interesting. Now then, Battle Royal time, and a little bit of dissension in the ranks do I see from MJF and Wardlow. Probably not, but you never know. So the winner of this Battle Royal will challenge Cody for the TNT Championship next week, and we now know that it's going to be Jungle Boy. Now, that's a great choice. I think that was wonderful. I have to say, though, I thought this Battle Royal was a little bit weak sauce, other than the last couple of minutes, and that tends to be the case once you start filtering out a bit of the riff-raff. Luther was in there, looked very shady, looked very dodgy. Almost felt like JR called him out on it when he threw Marco Stunt on his head. I'm not a huge fan of Marco Stunt, but come on, man. Like, he just kind of lobbed in with no real feeling or concern for his safety, and that was disappointing from my standpoint. And then he got dumped on the fucking hardest part of the ring by Luchasaurus. We got a few little teasers which were nice. We obviously got to see Luchasaurus and Wardlow getting it on. Obviously, Wardlow and MJF made up the majority of the storytelling for this. Orange Cassidy got jumped at the beginning by Proud and Powerful. And then, obviously, coming from that, we ended up with Jungle Boy and Orange Cassidy, which I thought was really cool and a really good use of both guys. And I think Jungle Boy winning is the right choice. He had a wonderful performance against MJF. This gave him an opportunity to kind of get his heat back a little bit after losing, because I don't think it really affects a guy like him. And he's really, really coming along as a face. I've got to be honest, I was a little bit apprehensive about the idea of Jungle Boy getting much of a push, because he just wasn't really my personal cup of tea, and I just felt like he had a very low ceiling. But he's actually really starting to emerge and really starting to look good. So hey, can't complain. Fair play to him. Next week he will challenge, of course, Cody for the TNT Championship, and I can guarantee one thing: that match will be absolutely phenomenal, because you're talking about an incredible worker in Jungle Boy, and you're talking about arguably the best storytelling aspect of wrestling right now, that is Cody, and the matches that he could put on. So all good from where I am standing. So rounding off the show was the Pep Rally. The Inner Circle, fresh off of their loss at Double or Nothing to the Elite, looking to bring a little bit of camaraderie, a little bit of unity to the gang. I fucking love these guys. They're so much fun. They're so entertaining. This was by far and away the most entertaining portion of AEW for me. It's so much fun. This is fun. This makes me happy watching this stuff. Chris Jericho, right? The GOAT. Okay, I've looked around. I'm struggling to think of somebody with the longevity, with the success, with the entertainment, with the career, with the match quality, who can match up to him over, 25, 30 years? Utterly astonishing. He blows my mind every time. And around him is a world-class selection of guys. So Santana and Ortiz, for me, one of the best tag teams in the world, period. Proud and Powerful are fantastic. Sammy Guevara, not only is he ridiculously handsome, the Spanish god, the sex god, baby, he's hot as bollocks, bruv, but he's also a fucking talent. He's so good to look at. He's got so much going for him. So excited to see where Sammy Guevara's going. He really does feel like the crown jewel of what AEW might achieve down the line. And Jake Hager, right? Now, he gets a lot of stick, but he's getting funnier, more entertaining. It's brilliant. It's kind of like he doesn't take himself seriously while taking himself seriously, if you understand what I mean. His demeanour is, I'm very serious and I'm an MMA fighter and I'm going to kill you, but then I'm going to read poetry. And I love it. And he was just like talking about his love for the gang and the bitches, and then he's like, I have a particular set of skills and I'm going to fight you. I know where you live. I thought it was fucking hysterical, man. infectious is what this whole segment was. Really, really fun, really enjoyable, and of course Sammy Guevara, the little jokes that make it so funny with the trophies. Like, well, pandemic's on, it's hard to find trophies, and we participated, we've got participation trophies, and they're lobbing their winners' t-shirts that they had printed en masse out into the audience, and they get thrown back at them. It worked beautifully. So funny, so entertaining. I still enjoyed the brawl. Now, Mike Tyson came down because Jericho, who rather brilliantly had hyped this on his social media, the fact that Tyson had knocked him out 10 years ago, I think, on an episode of Raw. Mike Tyson obviously comes down. They've got Tyson available. So now Tyson is flanked by... Now, I know boxing aficionados and fight aficionados are going to be like, how dare you disrespect these guys? These are some of the... And I fully understand that, and I'm sure they can all hand me my ass. I totally understand that. But the fucking state of these boys... Honestly, they look like they've been on a week-long bender. They just, a couple of them look like they were smacked off their tits. Might have been, allegedly, no idea. But it didn't look good for me. It looked a bit murky. Now, the Inner Circle, on the other hand, they're all shiny and stuff, and Jericho handles the mic work beautifully. Mike Tyson's like, oh, you're a fucker, baby, you're a fucker. You stole the championship. A little bit like Dusty Rhodes, but not nearly as good on the mic, it has to be said. But, Tyson is a legend. He is an icon, and him getting involved in this will garner a lot of interest. So from that perspective, we kind of have to wait and see. If there are headlines in the news, if this makes, widespread social media, if you see this on ESPN and Sports Illustrated, and I'm like, mission accomplished. Doesn't matter if the segment itself was a bit poor. And I've seen WWE fans go, it's a fucking joke, it's just a rip-off of Austin and Tyson. Yeah, of course it is. Everything's a rip-off of everything these days. Like, this is just rehashed, redone. The whole locker room spills out. But I know some people don't like it. I know Kyle, who's a part of the podcast, he's not a huge fan of it. I saw him tweeting about it. But I enjoyed it. I like the energy. And also, who doesn't like Jericho? The idea of Jericho versus Tyson. Come on, man. Tyson and Jericho. Tyson. I could just, JR, I can't believe his luck. He gets to call literally everything Mike Tyson has ever done in wrestling. He must be thrilled about this. But I thought it was a great ending to what was a really fun show. It was entertaining. It was hilarious. I love this segment. And it just sat well with me. But I want to know what you guys think. So I want you to leave a comment below and let us know what you think of AEW Dynamite. Is this the kind of show that you like? Do you like this kind of carny humour at the end, spliced in with some fantastic wrestling in between? Are you happy with Jungle Boy being the next number one contender? Do you think that there needs to be more work in terms of their mid-card because the Battle Royal felt very weak until kind of the final 4 or 5? What do you want to see from AEW Dynamite? And most importantly, what did you enjoy? Leave a comment on the video, like, subscribe, please share the videos as well, share the links, let your mates know. We absolutely love having new viewers, new listeners, getting involved with the podcast at WrestlePlug across all social media platforms. And most importantly, if you're watching these exclusive reviews on YouTube, make sure that you hit that bell icon, click on it, because then you'll get notifications of everything going forward, and it would be awesome to have you all along for the ride. From myself, Aeron Nix, thank you very much for listening to our AEW Dynamite review. We'll be back again very soon with more content from the WrestlePlug.